Hello, I have another journal that I wanted to share with you. This one, I struggled making this one a little bit, I'll be honest, mainly because of the size of it. It is rather large. It is, if I can find something to measure with, my ruler has disappeared. Anyways, I believe this is 10 inches. I have got to find my ruler. Hold on just one moment. It's right where it belongs. I just couldn't see it. Okay. Here we go. We'll measure this. It is, yes, 10 inches by 6 3/4. So, it's a pretty good sized book, which means that a regular 8.5 by 11 paper folded in half is not going to fill the book very well. It leaves a lot of gap at the top and bottom and the sides, and I didn't want that. So what I decided to do, which is something that I've done before, when I've made large like fabric books, but I have not done it recently because I was trying not to make really big books. But then I found this book. Okay, it's an old children's book. It's a dirty yellow, and it has this blue outline of the Alaskan flag. And it was about Benny, the boy who drew the design for the Alaskan flag when it was a territory and to become a state. And I really love the story. I love just the history of it, and it also, I think, kind of hit close to home because my mother, during her high school years, her 4 years in high school, lived in Alaska. Her stepfather traveled around with the oil company and ended up in Alaska, and I think it has impacted her life probably more than anywhere else that she's ever lived. And I think I've talked to other people who have spent time in Alaska and then left and no longer live in Alaska, and I think that it's something that it impacts your life. Just from people that what I know from talking to people. I don't know personally, I've never been there. I would love to someday. It seems like a very beautiful place. Okay, so I messed around with the idea of this book for a long time and finally decided I was going to do it. And what I decided on was, it's got a lot of Alaska items in it. It's more along the lines of exploration. That part of it really spoke to me, as far as just the drive, the determination, the free spirit of explorers that went there and just made that place what it is today. Made it, they didn't make it, but they discovered it. They I don't even know how to say it. They pushed through and proved that it could be a livable place. Let's put it like that. And now, I know not all of it is a harsh, horrible climate that we imagine when we think of Alaska. I think of, icebergs and polar bears and just frozen tundra. But, there's also the places that aren't nearly as cold and aren't year-round cold. And then just, I don't know, something about the place I think it speaks to a lot of people. Not just Alaska, but any northern climate country and state that has a lot of depth, a lot of personality, a lot to offer. Let's put it like that. Okay, so the spine of the book was missing, so I rebuilt the spine. I made it a 2-inch spine, and I sewed in 4 signatures, and I'll show you how I did the signatures here in just a moment. I covered the spine, or built the spine, using this, it is painter's canvas. It comes in a tablet. I don't know how to show you, but it's a sheet of, looks like paper, but it's canvas that it's been gessoed. Anyways, I painted it and then sanded it and inked it and made it look old and worn. love the way that came out. I went with this dark blue because this flag is dark blue and the colors of the flag are blue and yellow. Okay, then I wanted to keep it fairly rustic looking, not feminine, not terribly feminine. So on the spine I just tied on this this twine and put on some wooden beads and some metal beads and little brass charms, and this is a leather tag, some little beads and chain, and just kind of decorated it fairly simple. On the corners I attached these book corners and sanded them down some so they look worn. The closure has just twine tied onto these two bulldog clips with some leather tied onto them and little beads. Fairly simple and rustic. I like the way it turned out. So on the inside, what I did was I took several sheets of paper, different sizes, different styles, and kinds of paper, and I stitched them together to make a sheet of paper big enough to fold and fill the book. And the inside has this pattern paper. I have a little, this was a library card. It was an original from this book. There's a little tag and a collage down here with a vintage button. And on the tag it's a list of words. It says things like adventure, adventurer, adventurous, and so on and so forth. A little paper tag here with some twine, and this is a bookmark that I found with a saying from Eleanor Roosevelt. It says, "The future belongs to those that believe in the beauty of their dreams." And I believe that that's fitting for the men and women that, you know, they believed in what they were doing and they believed in the beauty of the country, and they persevered and they made it work. So we have lots of coffee dyed papers. I think all the papers in here are coffee dyed. This is some handwriting paper, patterned paper, a pocket here with just a large journaling card with a stamp here, some dip pen quills, more coffee dyed paper. This is a file folder, which that worked out because I didn't have to sew anything with those. They fit. I just had to actually cut them down. Ledger paper. This was a large envelope and just stamped specimen on it, and it's sewn in. Inside it is a book page from a different book. It says The Passionate Journey by Irving Stone, a vintage book. Lots of coffee dyed papers, envelope with a joining start here with a stamp on it. Yep. A book page. This one you can really see where it's all like sewn together, like a quilt, a paper quilt, if you will. This is a vintage picture that I printed off of the internet of the Klondike Gold Rush miners on I cannot remember the name of the trail. It was a pass that they were going through. So I added that. Got a little something right there. A little pocket with a tag. Pattern paper, another pocket. This is a little booklet that I made with a sun stamp, because, you know, it is the land of the midnight sun, and it just folds around here and tucks in, and is a little booklet. All kinds of different papers thread in. Tucks back in. And a little clip up here with a picture of the moose. This is a book page here with some shorthand, and that flips up. You can write there and put a picture here if you want to. This little sewn area made a little pocket. Put a journaling card in here with a bear and a little tag. This here is a picture of miners. They were also there for the gold rush, Klondike Gold Rush. A little pocket with just an old playing card and a note, coffee dyed note paper. And paper. This little pocket has a vintage image of blueberries. A tag with a stamp. This is an old geography school book. Has a picture of Canada and Alaska, Greenland. This little tuck spot here with a journaling card in it. This little tuck spot, or this paper here made a little tuck spot with a vintage image of forget-me-nots, which is I don't know if it's the state flower. I almost said that, and then I was like, wait, I'm not sure. But I do know that in the book, Benny stated that forget-me-nots inspired him for part of the book. The blue background was the forget-me-nots. And a little tag there. This is a little tag, has a stamp, says remember on it. It's a music sheet. I like the way it turned out, looking all quilted and just sewn together, a mishmash. It's a vintage image of a map which has Alaska front and center. It's a little onion skin pocket here that you can see through, and a tag that says explore, dream, discover. The other side of that geography map. A little tag. This is cardstock. So it's very sturdy for posting or pasting in pictures and ephemera of your own. So a little tag with some ribbon with a stamped image on it. And a little flip spot. Another pocket here with a couple places for journaling. More just a collages of paper. This is a fabric tag that was sewn onto a canvas bag with the company that made it, and the sample number and type and everything like that. Some little paw prints here on a tag. It's a little journaling spot with a stamp. Some yellow paper. This is some vintage wallpaper. And this makes a big pocket right here with this more little writing paper with a stamp. Of a compass. Some book paper. A little flip spot. Got a picture of a salmon clipped in there. So lots of coffee dyeing. Stamp on this tag with a mountain pass. Some book paper. And this here says The Passionate Journey. It's a page from that same book. Pattern paper. And the back of the book just, has the other side of the clamp, is that right? And a place here where you can write your name for the owner of the book. Got a little sticker here with a star on it. Put some washi tape on the spine there, just for a little bit more reinforcement and decoration. And there's my book, my book for all people, the exploration, travel-minded people out there, and those who want to document their travels, perhaps. Could be a travel journal, could be a homesteading journal, it could be anything you want it to be, just a memory book. Thank you for watching. If you like, leave a thumbs up and leave a comment and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.